Hey everybody, welcome back to September's studio vlog. And this is September 2nd, first day in the studio this month. I was barely here in August, so I'm really looking forward to getting some serious studio time in September. I do have to prepare for my last show of the year. That is going up just next door in the sister building to this one, Braid Studios, and I'm one of 5 artists who are showing their work there for the fall, so basically until December 5th. So this week is going to be pretty busy because I'm going to be preparing to set that show up and taking down the work that I currently have a piece over there already. I have to go take that down on Saturday. I have these 2 pieces that are in progress that need to be worked on, and I also have a lot of clocking in work that I have to be doing after a very successful pop-up show that we did August 22nd to the 24th. So I'm going to be writing a grant, I'm going to be preparing programming, I'm going to be logging a whole bunch more cards that we got from the workshops we had there, plus a workshop that was held in July. So there's a lot going on. I'm very busy. It's also back to school for my kids. My oldest son is grade 12, so it's his graduating year from high school. Very exciting, but also very new. And there's sports practicing, there's theater starting up again, there's a lot going on. So it's going to be a busy month again. I feel pretty prepared for it. I feel pretty grounded despite having one of the busiest Augusts of my life, for sure. Despite that, it seemed to go fairly well, and managed to get everything done, managed to get a couple little trips in there. So that is my September update, and I hope to film a little bit of today for you, and we'll get to see lots of interesting things happening this month. Hey everybody. Oh gosh, I'm gonna find a better angle here. Okay, so today is a Saturday. It is September 6th, and rare Saturday for me at the studio. I was here for a studio community potluck this morning and discussion about the Culture Crawl, which is coming up at the beginning of October, and also the show Gathered, which I'm going to be in with several other artists from the studios. So it was kind of a meeting about that. I looked at the space that my work is going to be hanging in so that I could get an idea of what work I want to hang, and then had that chat, and then came over here and did some work. So I worked on the native land piece, and I worked on the base for the next piece in the Ancestry series. So Ireland is right now on hold. I'm moving on to England. I'm going to quilt the base of that at home when I'm there, and continue sewing on native land to try to get all those letters on there, because that will finish that piece and get that out of the way. And then I can hang up England, Ireland, and Scotland together, because what I realized, I think I may have mentioned this in the last check-in, was that I need to reference them against each other when I'm doing the composition. And so that's kind of next steps. So I will be I'm planning to come to the studio Monday and Tuesday this coming week, and work on Wednesday on some other stuff, getting all of the dowels and poles to hang up the work that I need for the show, because I'm going to be hanging it up next weekend, which is a bit earlier than I had originally planned, but I think that works best for everyone else involved in the show if I hang next weekend. So that's my plan, to hang on Sunday. And I need to prepare all the pieces and make sure I've got dowels and everything I need in those before the weekend. So I will be going to get those, cutting them down, getting those ready, and also working on clocking in on Wednesday. I need to do some, arranging of photos, some data input into the spreadsheet, just stuff like that. Okay, so that's my update for today. I'm gonna head home now. I might do some hand sewing actually when I get home, but otherwise I'm gonna be kind of off the clock here for the rest of the weekend, doing other things today and tomorrow. And I'll check in again with you probably on Monday. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, September 8th, and I'm here at the studio, and I'm gonna continue on this piece. I'm gonna try to do a whole row, and then I'll take a break and work on, I think maybe today I'll work on the bed quilt, that is the gift quilt, and this one. I'm just gonna try to hammer it out today and tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing. It's gonna be a little bit boring, so I'm not gonna really get a ton of footage of it, but I would take a little bit of footage, and then it's just one of those repetitive things that isn't as exciting to show you, but it's got to get done. Hi, everybody. All right, so today is Monday, September 15th, and I'm in the studio. I was actually here yesterday. You will have seen some footage from that, not from this spot, but from being over at the other braid where I was hanging my show, the last show of 2025 for me. Yeah, so I got that hung. I have to switch out some work at a craft shop that I sell work through on Granville Island. They sold one of my pieces, which is very exciting, and I'm going to take them just a few more pieces, switch out some of the other ones they have, and so that's going to be kind of my last kind of big thing of 2025 in terms of like my work. Otherwise I'm just gonna be making. So I'm finishing this piece today. I just have this upper corner to finish. I'm gonna go have some lunch right now. I can admit fully that I am tired of sewing this, so I'm really excited to be able to get it finished, take it off the wall, put up the other two pieces I'm currently working on the wall, and then I'll be starting the imagery of the second piece, and then I'll probably get the quilting assembled for the third piece tomorrow, and just so that I can take that one home and do the quilting at home. Yeah, so stuff is happening, stuff is going on. It is, the weather is still kind of holding. It's supposed to actually be nice and warm tomorrow. So I'm kind of glad that we're getting a bit of sunshine for the last few weeks of summer as we approach the equinox, this is the last week of summer. The equinox, I think, is a week from today. So just trying to adjust to the change in the weather and the change in the season and kind of shifting vibes from, summer and activities, because we were really busy this summer, to something that's a bit more calm, a little bit more internalized, starting to think about the holidays, starting to think about, the first autumn in our new home, those types of things. So yeah. That is where I am. I would say feeling pretty good mentally and physically, and just trying to maintain that, because as we know, things dip up and down. Yeah, so that's my check-in for now. I'll try to remember to take some footage of the rest of the day, and yeah, talk to you again. everybody. Today is September 22nd. Happy autumn equinox. And I came to the studio, it's a Monday, and worked on this piece. I did, I traced some antlers that I had drawn out on paper, and then I did some marker on them, marker and pen, and then these eventually will be outlined with black thread right on the piece. And then I also worked on the crown, which is on a separate piece of fabric, and that will go just above the antlers. And then I also printed out the rose. Oh, sorry, the rose. So there's the it's a version of the Tudor rose that will go above that. This is the England piece, and it's kind of about ancestry usurped by imperialism. Just a little heavy topic, but yeah. And then I did work on the quilt as well. I assembled 2 sets of blocks, block row A3 and row A2. Yeah, so I'm gonna be here again tomorrow, so I am not taking anything home with me today. I'm just gonna head out like this. I've got a kid at home with a cold, so I'm hoping actually to go home and get him outside for a bit for a walk. I think that would be good for him. And yeah, I kind of did an errand on the way here, and I'm just kind of waiting out the school traffic right now. So I'll probably leave around 3:20. And 3:15 probably is good. Yeah, so that was a good day. It was a good day in the studio. I've also been doing, there is admin that I have to do this week. I have to finish writing that grant. Well, the grant is due next week, and then we may have a meeting this week for the programming for our January show. And I have a lunch date this week. I have a massage, I have yoga, and then I get 3 weeks off of yoga because my teacher is going away on a trip, which will not be good for my body, but will free up my Thursday mornings for 3 weeks. Yeah, I think that is the update for today. So I will check in with you tomorrow and hopefully show you a bit more of what I get up to then. Hey everyone. So I was gonna check in at the studio upstairs, but then one of my studio mates was in there and I didn't want to disturb her. So just a quick run through. 3 days in the studio this week. It's felt really, really good to be able to do that. Things are just moving like a little bit slower. There's still lots to do, but I just decided to like ground myself really into the studio this week. And so that's what I've done. And it's felt really good. And I'm bringing some work home to work on over the next 4 days because I won't be back in the studio until Monday. And today's Wednesday. And yeah, so I've got some different little projects to work on. Might even be able to finish those 2 things over the weekend and then be able to continue on with this. I'm doing the England piece right now, and then one little part of the Ireland piece. And I've also been working on the quilt, and I got a block done, the first block. created, because it's a lot of strips. This quilt has a lot of flying geese shapes in it, these which are triangles. And so it's a lot of creating strips and then putting all the strips together, and then you have your first block. So yeah, that was exciting. And now I can continue working. There has to be 18 of those blocks. So it'll probably take me a week or two to sew all those together, unless I kind of wanted to keep going today, but I forced myself to work on the art because it's important to work on the art, of course. I have more of a deadline for the art than I do for that quilt. There's no deadline for that quilt. Yeah, so that is my check-in for now. I will probably, Monday will be the last day of September that I will be in the studio, because Tuesday is officially the last day of September, but it's a holiday. And so my kids will be home from school and my husband will be home from work. So I don't think I will come to the studio that day. We'll probably try to do something together. And yeah, that is my update for today. So I will check in again with you later.